All right, we're live. Today's episode of The Grind. I'm your host, Adam Johnson of 2ways10days.com. Got a great show lined up for you. Got Bonzie Colson from the Canton Charge coming on just a little bit. But first, I want to plug a little bit of what's going on over at 2ways10days.com. So we're going to check on over there right now. We have the Salt Lake City Stars prospect report against 2ways10days.com is the web address. He's got a prospect report here of the Salt Lake City Stars. Go check it out. A little more info and insight on the players there on that roster. Really like it. And who are the surprise rookies prospects so far this season? Coincidentally enough, I've got Bonzie on my list, and we'll kind of go over that as well during our discussion. You got Bonzie Colson, Jamario Jones, South Bay Lakers. These are guys maybe who don't have stats that just jump off the sheet, but they're interesting prospects and see how far they can maybe develop down the line. Maybe if they get a year or so under their belt. Guys maybe didn't come in with the most hype behind them. You know, some other prospects, you know, obviously more intriguing on paper to see what they do. These guys kind of flew under the radar, so to speak. Not saying that Colson didn't, but I think maybe he wasn't, you know, the first choice on a lot of guys' lists looking around the league. But Bonzie Colson's pretty good. We'll talk about that too. Haywood Highsmith, the D2 player, playing for the Delaware Bluecoats. I almost said the 87ers, and I did now. He's got it going on too. And finally, Kendrick Nunn, Santa Cruz Warriors. He's averaging about 20 points a game, so he's not exactly off the radar, but he is coming off the bench for Santa Cruz, and he's doing exceedingly well. So check that out if you want a little more details on that. We'll dig into a few topics here real quick. First, congratulations to the Wisconsin Herd with the 119-118 victory last night over the Maine Red Claws. Triple overtime. They had to earn it. They snapped an 11-game losing streak. Congrats to the Wisconsin Herd. Vander Blue, 13 points. For that game, he was 14 points away from second all-time in scoring in G League history. He needs one more point to do that, obviously. Maine, obviously undermanned, just 8 guys suited up. So you have John Bohannon, 14 points, 10 boards. Nick King, 18 points, 13 rebounds. PJ Dozier, 34 points, 10 turnovers though. I'll clean that up. But let's look at Vito Brown, 22 points, 11 boards as well for him. Shot 46% from the field, 34% from 3, 67% from free throw line, charity stripe. Yeah, you gotta. It must feel good, you know, having to go practically a whole month without a win. You're traveling on the road. They lost Travis Trice a bit for Team USA, so easily, this has got to be a way to feel like you can get back on track. See what they do after this, if this is a one-time thing, or if they can keep the ball rolling and continue piling up those wins. Not as crazy as it sounds, it's not too late to turn your season around. So let's see if they can do that. Certainly plenty of time. You know, I'm still about a dozen or so games, a little more than a dozen games into the season. So plenty of time to do that. Right now, we'll talk about, though, is the next big thing that I'd like to discuss is the Sioux Falls Skyforce acquiring the one and only Jarnell Stokes. It was announced yesterday. Joe Stokes returned to the team. Forward Gerard Tureen was waived in completing the transaction. They got to make room for him. Obviously, you're going to do that for a guy who is a G League MVP. He was part of the 40-10 team that won a G League title. That team also had Briante Weber, who's on the team now. That team also had DeAndre Liggins, who's on the team now. That team also had Boo Boo Paulo, who is on the team. So you see where I'm going with this. You see where I'm going with this. This team is already loaded, and they're adding another key piece. And what can you say about Yante Maton? I think it's his 5th straight game of 30 points this past night when they played the Texas Legends. We can roll that box score up here too as well. Texas Sioux Falls. Let's take a look here. Yante Maton, 32 points, 13 rebounds. He's a monster. Saw him in person this past week in Santa Cruz. He had another 30-point game then. I think head coach Nevada Smith summed it up pretty easily. It's a quiet 42 or it's a quiet sort of accumulation. He's not making the highlight reel. He's not making the flashy plays, so to speak, but he's getting the work in, and he's putting in all the effort he can. And it's quite fascinating to see him go to work, especially he's been labeled as an undersized power forward, but he works really hard, and it shows in the stat sheet. So, and once you see it in person, you kind of see it. He's not, like I say, he's not making the big plays, he's not trying to do alley-oops or lobs or trying to make Sports Center, but he is getting it done. It's quite fascinating. And Nevada Smith spoke to him before the game. He said he knew after a single Summer League game that Yonte Mayton was going to be a guy who could average at least 18 and 18. Yes, Charge Nation, charge up, of course. We'll have Bonzi on in just a second. But thanks for watching. And Jarnell Stokes, 5 points, 11 rebounds in 16 minutes. So that kind of tells you what he was working on. Probably just getting comfortable into the rotation, making sure he's, acclimating accordingly. So Malik Newman, only 5 points. He had 25 for the Skyforce Wednesday in Santa Cruz as well. So they're deep. Breonte Weber did not play in this game, nor did Liggins. They're both coming back from injury. We shall see. On the other side of the score, Frank Jackson on assignment from Dallas, 27 points. Daryl Macon, 21 points. Keith Hornsby, 16. Jameel Warney, just 9 points and 2 rebounds. Kind of expect more from Jameel. That's understandable. Kostas Antetokounmpo, 9 points, 13 rebounds. Young kid. I like his energy. I like his motor. Just kind of needs to find a role for himself and improve the outside shot, obviously. He's a guy who's comfortable around the rim, but he's got to add a little more length to his game. So it should be interesting, to say the least. Hopefully, Sioux Falls, what more can you say about them? I mean, when you add a guy like Stokes, it's not going to make you worse, right? It's only going to make you better. So moving on, the Northern Arizona Suns. I can't believe I missed this one. The Northern Arizona Suns on Monday announced they would change their name for one game only. I think it's January 19th to the, wait for it, the Northern Arizona Rodeo Clowns. That's right. Take that in for a second. Just take that in. I think my knee-jerk reaction to this, honestly, was, what are they doing? Honestly, it's an interesting choice. To call it a rodeo clown, it's obviously paying homage, to the history of the rodeo in that part of Arizona. That was what they're going for. It's unique, certainly, and it's shocking because the G League's not used to this, but minor league sports, particularly baseball, this is a common occurrence. You'll see teams change their name for a game here and there. You'll have new, unique uniforms, obviously, unique merchandise, that sort of thing. So it's an opportunity to do that. And, we saw this last year with the Erie Bayhawks, who changed to the Erie Pepperoni Balls for one game. I think they won a G League award, end of year award for that. So kudos to the Bayhawks and their marketing team there. It's an interesting look. Love it. Creativity and highlighting local interests like the Pepperoni Balls. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, to each their own, right? It's a unique look, certainly. It's different. I'll give them that. Yeah, I mean, maybe because I'm not from the area, I'm not, inclined or in touch with the idea of the rodeo or the rodeo clown. Maybe it doesn't. That's why it doesn't pique my interest as much. And that's reasonable, right? That's a reasonable assertion. But kudos to them. I think mixing it up and having fun with it too, and gauging interest in your team however you can, as long as it has a positive impact on the community, it's got to be a good thing. So kudos to them as well. Hopefully this is a successful campaign for them too, whichever they're trying to accomplish. So this should be good. Yeah, I think we are going to try and bring on Bonzi right now. So you want to hang tight here. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Joining us now you can hear me, on the podcast, he is representing the Canton Charge with 14.9 points per game, 7.5 rebounds out of Notre Dame. Please welcome Bonzie Colson to the show. Bonzie, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Always appreciate you guys coming out and joining the show. You're actually our first guest on this show. I had to iron out some of the kinks first few weeks, but it is an honor to have you here, good sir. And, way to kick off the show, to say the least. So this this is your first season in the G League. How has it treated you so far? You got about a dozen games under your belt. How has the season treated you?
It's been treating us well. We started off, on a slow start. Just understanding the system, understanding, our players' identities on both sides of the floor. But I think we're starting to have a good rhythm. We had a couple trades, a couple waves, so we have a solid team, and it's treating us all well. We have a great coaching staff that puts us in great positions, to be successful. So, it's been good so far.
And coming from college, obviously, you have a roster you stick with the whole year. Describe the challenge that you can. You mentioned guys coming and going. Cleveland, per se, has gone through 5 two-way players already. What is that like to have the roster sort of turn over in a quick fashion, so to speak, and we're just like a month into the season?
Yeah, that's a part of the business. Those are certain things. Those are things you really can't control. So you just always got to be ready for a call-up. You always got to be ready for a change. It's just a part of the league. It's a part of the business. And that's something that, when I was in Cleveland during training camp, that they emphasized, and that's something that Coach Nate also emphasized about how you never know what can happen in this league. So you just always got to come ready to play. And it's just a part of it. So, when your name is called or when things change, you just be ready to continue to play your game no matter where you're at.
Talking to Bonzie Colson here, the Canton Charge. What's been the biggest adjustment coming from college and stepping into the pro ranks, would you say?
In college, I was, the main guy. I'm making sure I'm getting in touch every possession. You go into the G League or professional, playing pro ball. Everybody was the main dude wherever they were from. So trying to find your spots on, both sides of the floor. Just understanding the game, understanding how it's a faster pace. Understanding how, it's just totally different, the pace and the play calls and, the ATLs, all those things are just different from college. So just having for me, it was just being able to understand the difference and just being able to adjust quickly with how things are here.
Well, you've adjusted.
And, obviously off the court. Off the court is just different. Obviously you don't have classes, so you're on your own. It's not really a structure. Those are certain things that I've kind of, no homework. So you just come back and just chill, play video games, or, read a book or something. So this is just a lot different from college.
All right, what I got to ask now since you mentioned it, what video games are you playing?
I got the PS4 and I'm playing Fortnite, Call of Duty, 2K, all those games.
Fortnite and Call of Duty.
Sure.
Talking to players around the league, those seem to be the big games for guys to kind of squad up and play, so to speak. Why do you think that is? What is it that maybe pro athletes or guys want to play games like that? I'm just kind of curious what your answer is. Why guys sort of gravitate towards games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, and those sorts of games? Would you say?
Well, yeah. Being a basketball player, especially playing in high school or college, you develop relationships with your teammates, and they go on to different colleges or playing overseas or things of that nature. So just being able to still be in contact with them and playing video games, and it's a special way to, keep in contact and talk to them and still having that team atmosphere, even though you're not playing, on the same team, basketball-wise. But, when you're playing a video game, you still have that team atmosphere. You're still playing together. And obviously you talk and you catch up and, you reminisce about the whole days and things like that. So it's always good play with your friends that you haven't talked to in a while, with that team atmosphere in the video games.
And Bonzie,
that's what I would say.
So, yeah, sure. You're 7-6 now, winners of 3 straight. You sort of mentioned the roster turnover. What's been working for you guys lately to sort of get on this quick run and drop a few wins here?
I think just understanding, we're finally understanding, what we can do on both sides of the floor. Our pace has definitely changed. And I think no matter what was going on offensively, we made sure that we defend, and we've been defending really well. and our pace on the offensive end of just getting the ball out quick if it's a main bucket and pushing it, or calling a set, knowing school team coach Nate do a great job. Our point guards Mar do a great job of knowing when to call sets and knowing when not to. So just be able to have a just a solid foundation. We're starting to create that identity. We have guys who can come into play, understand what they can and cannot do. It just makes the game easier. And guys who love the game and understand that it's about the front of the jersey, the name on the front of the jersey, not the back. It kind of helps make that team atmosphere, help you with that chemistry. So I think all those are clicking like what's happening right now. We could be a really special group.
Absolutely, especially when you start getting comfortable with one another. It's a new team. These rosters sort of form really quickly. You don't have a month of training camp. You have like 2 weeks. So
exactly, a lot different than Cleveland.
Oh, I imagine it's a lot different. And guys coming and going, assignments, who's on assignment, who's not. So it changes day to day. But once you guys get comfortable with yourselves and each other, good things can certainly happen. I think, one way to describe your game, I think it's versatile. You're shooting nearly 50% from the floor, 40% from three on the season. Where are you most comfortable on the court, would you say?
Doesn't really matter. I've always been kind of an undersized player who can do a little bit in the post. I can pick and pop and do some things on the perimeter. So I think now it's just finding my spots. Knowing when to post up, knowing when to pick and pop, knowing when to roll, and just trying to show my versatility. On the offensive end, the same thing on the defensive end. So just being able to be aggressive on both sides of the floor, and just picking, finding your spots. If hitting when you hit a couple threes, understanding that the guy's gonna be on you, a little bit more, so you can drive by him, or posting up if it's a mismatch and post attacking the mismatch. So those are things that I see and within my game that I do well. Just understanding mismatches. If there's a big on me, take it to the rim or pick or pop it. If there's a small, take it to the post. So those are just things that I've kind of it's within my game since kind of high school, that I just try to get better and better, as the years go by from college and now to, the professional life.
We're watching highlights here. I've seen you hit a 3 against the Grand Rapids Drive earlier this season. You've had 3 double-doubles in these wins, certainly as pointed out by some of our viewers here. We're going to switch gears here for a bit, though. I'm going to ask you a couple questions. You said that Space Jam is your favorite movie. Why is that, and why is that the only acceptable answer? Why is that the right answer?
It's just a movie I've always watched, as a young kid, obviously growing up Michael Jordan, somebody that I've always looked up to, and his shoes and just how the movie was. Just a great movie. I also have a Space Jam hat that I wear a lot that the guys kind of get on me for, but it's just a great movie, and it's something that, I want to relate to being in the league, just playing the game, and Michael Jordan did a great job of being an actor in that movie.
Yeah, I think it's 20 years old now, so I remember seeing that in the theaters. Yeah. That's how old I am.
Exactly.
But it's had an impact on my kids. My kids watch it. I swear there was a point where they watched it 3 times a day. So I don't know if you were that addicted to it when you were little. But,
yeah, I was. Okay. All the time watching it.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And they're acting it out and pretending to be the characters, all that stuff. It's kind of fascinating how it resonates to today, though, still. It's just this perfect encapsulation of what you possibly can be if you put your mind to it, even with the setting of Looney Tunes and Bugs Bunny and all that. It's done very well, despite what other people may think. Keep rocking that Space Jam hat. Don't let the haters get to you.
Yeah, of course. I will have it upstairs, matter of fact, in my own.
Right on. Another interesting fact, you consider yourself to be a singer of sorts. What is your go-to karaoke song? What's in your back pocket?
A little bit of Ain't No Mountain High, Temptations, Bump and Grind, R. Kelly, a little bit of Michael Jackson, Jackson 5. I can try to do it all. I mostly sing in the shower, but if it's karaoke, I'm mostly going on there and singing for the stage and stuff.
Well, we couldn't get you to sing on the show here, could we? Is that too much to ask?
No, my voice is a little parched.
Oh, okay. Okay, maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Yeah, next
Certainly.
time. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't give you time to warm up, obviously. So
yeah, you did it.
It's on me totally. Based on feedback from coaches, a question from one of our viewers right now. Based on feedback from coaches, what would you say is the skill you need to work on most to make sure you secure that NBA call-up in the future that if you're looking towards?
Yeah, just being consistent. I think that's important. Every game just showing that you could do it, consistently, and just defending multiple, defending multiple positions, showing them that, you can defend and you can switch on guards and you can defend the bigs. I think those are certain things that, I've been working on, and I think I'm really getting better at, as these games go on. So those are a couple things.
Right on. And what makes Coach Ryan King different from other coaches that you've played for, would you say? I know he's only been your coach for a short while here, but what stands out about him that, maybe positively speaking, makes you want to be a better player?
Yeah, he lets you play. He's not the type of guy who's a yeller or a screamer if you're doing something wrong. He really trusts you and puts you in great situations to be successful. And he just lets you play. A lot of times we don't run plays. We get it in quick and get to the guards, and we just get into our secondary movement. But he's really calm, and at times where things are going crazy, really calms down, so everything's okay. And he really leads his leadership at times to his players, and lets us all talk, and lets us give us feedback on what he thinks. I don't know what we think certain times, and during film sessions, he's always making it open court wall, talking about things, making a real atmosphere that's comfortable, for us all if you have any questions. And I think that's important for rookies, especially coming into the playing pro ball, being the first year, where things were so structured. You didn't really have that the opportunity to say things, especially during film. So I think that's important, for, that's something that I've realized, being pro.
Absolutely. Well, Bonzi, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on today. Wish you the best of luck the rest of the way, and good luck at the showcase in just a few weeks.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye. Bonzi Colson, ladies and gentlemen. What an interview, to say the least. Singer, loves Space Jam, dedicated to the game. I think he's only going to get better. So I don't think he's going to get worse playing more pro games, obviously. So he's an interesting prospect. Glad to have him on today. Thank you for submitting your questions as well in the chat. Tried to maneuver and finagle between my own questions and fitting yours in as well. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching today. I'm Adam Johnson again. The website, 2ways10days.com for all your G League news and reports and interviews here. You miss an episode of The Grind, you can come and check out our archive here. We have audio interviews we're posting throughout the season. Look at all these. Look at all these interviews. This is putting in the work, folks. That's what putting the work in is. There's probably about a dozen more or so I need to put up here as well. So keep an eye out for those. But I'd like to thank my guest today, Bonzi Colson. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time.